Hey YouTube, this is NJ4Wider5, and this morning I got a message from Shannon, one of a few friends that I follow over at Facebook and all them good stuff, and they offered to make a case for my tab welder. So I was kind of surprised, which is pretty cool. I like to get other people involved. I mean, maybe they can help me out, get an idea that I have no idea, because I really wasn't sure what I was gonna do yet. I didn't know if I was gonna plexiglass it, go to the store and find maybe a big old case or something. I've been looking because I love to frequent the Goodwills, and I haven't been able to find nothing that would go good with this just yet. But I figured I'd better explain how I plan on putting this together. That way, once they look at what I got going on, they can get an idea of the what I'm looking for. They also mentioned that they might do some bus bars for my tab welder. I'm sure because I'm not that skilled. I learn right alongside with all you guys, hoping to get better every day. That's what we do. We learn from each other. So I'm gonna, in this video, it's going to be kind of a quick video. I'm not feeling the greatest today, so please excuse me if I fumble my words, because it's probably going to be a kind of a live. I'm just going to shoot and drop the video on YouTube. So what my complete plan is to do with this tab welder, whether it works or not, I have not tested nothing on there yet. I've just been making sure all the parts and pieces work, and then what I'll end up doing is right before I throw it together, I'll probably do some quick testing to just make sure everything works how I want it to. So just to get a rough idea of what we got going on here, and I'll probably break out with the calipers. Give me one quick sec. That was a quick sec, I just paused it. Here's the calipers. The kind I like to use is the Easy Cal. This thing is awesome. I mean, I never had not one issue with it at all. So we'll put this to the side. Okay, so the plan goes like this. I have the 3 banks here, which I know have to be powerful enough. Might be too much power. I'm not 100% certain just yet. I'm hoping it's not. I've got the videos on there of me building it. I've already tested it. Everything charges, right on key. I had it planned originally to go standing up, but the way the box is, I have a feeling that I might end up having to go with it facing down. I don't know yet. Like I said, the box isn't made. These little spacers are just to protect them from any accidental cross firing of anything. So I have this, and of course this is going to go in the middle. Of course, this is the front, and I put extra bolts on there. Going off of this would be something like this, and this would probably go on the negative side, and from the negative would be my switch, and my switch would go tight onto here, and then it would go hanging off the end of the capacitor bank, and then from here would be my I guess my leads or whatever it is. These are already made, ready to go. I've used these before and they work pretty good. I used them on my other capacitor welder. That one I took apart. I actually filmed that whole take apart. I'm not sure if I'll post it. If somebody asked me to post it, I'll post it. I just took the capacitor welder part because I wanted to use the parts in there. I wasn't too happy with the original capacitor to begin with. It didn't hold charge like I wanted it to. It's probably not even real, but it did work. It worked pretty good. I actually like the tabs I got from it. So from this we'll go this, and of course on the other side, on the positive side, I'm gonna have this, another one, and these are gonna go up here too. So I'll have this, and more likely what I'll end up doing is probably making something like this so that I can kind of even out how far they come out of the box. So those will be going right there, and that's going to be more likely on the outside of the box. except for the switch. The switch is all going to be on the inside. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of put these out of the way right for now. Okay, so on the front of it, because that's where the switch is going to be in the FC31, I believe is the name of the timer. Most of everything I think is going to be going more towards the front, and that's only because I need to keep track of how much voltages I'm going to be using. I mean, this is 16 volts, but more than likely it'll be tabbing at around 5, probably maybe even lower than 5, because you know 16 volts is going to be way too powerful. 5 volts should give me a good, you know, 10, 12, 15, 20 welds before it needs to be, you know, well, as long as I do everything correctly, it'll stay charged. This is the switch, and I've got the video on that one. Let me try to focus. And from this switch, this is going to go on the inside. These wires can all be cut. They're just kind of long for now. This is going to get connected to the switch, and from the switch, it's all going to be powered from this. And I plan on making a little tiny 3S battery. Some parts I got here. I know these are kind of, you know, generic battery holders, but these are going to do the job. I'm going to make this a 3S. More than likely, it's going to have balance cables and all that good stuff on there, and the lead's going to be something I could plug into here. And this is going to go somewhere in here too. So, you know, a lot of little parts and pieces. Let's try to get this in here. Okay, so that's going to be powering the switch. From this switch to the outside of the case is going to be a safety switch, and this makes sure that whenever I do power it on, it doesn't, you know, shoot me with any kind of zaps or anything like that. And we'll focus again. This will go on the outside, of course. And then, let's see if I can find you. This is going to be going to the outside of the case too. And this actually goes to the switch part. And this gets plugged into my foot pedal or my finger, whatever I decide to use. I don't think I'm going to relocate these LEDs yet. I'm not 100% sure. It depends on how the case is. You know, I could always, you know, put the LEDs on the outside of the case. I'll just either run another LED from it, or I'll just pull those and run LEDs to the outside case. That's easy task. Let me think what else. And that goes for these, and I could put standoffs on the bottom of these so that I can, you know, put in the case or whatever it is. And more than likely, you know, once you get everything in there, you're gonna have to clean up the wiring so that, you know, everything looks more closed in. And that's just the switch part. Okay, so the power part, it's going to be powered, and this is going to be on the face. Just like if you look at my other capacitor welder, you'll see that I was able to turn. I plan on putting these pots. I don't want to desolder these pots because I really like this the way it sits. So more than likely, at the top of the case, this is going to be somewhere at the face. And at the face, at the very top, I'm going to have 2 holes where I can, you know, adjust it. Because once I get it adjusted, I shouldn't have to touch it again. But there's going to be 2 holes in the top where I can run a screwdriver in there and adjust it as needed. This has the voltages and the amps all the way up to the 10th, I believe it is, or 100th. It should work pretty well. This is 5 amps. This is 5 amp max. I'll probably run it around 3. Then from that is going to be a boost converter, and the reason for the boost converter is so that no matter what happens, the same voltage always comes out the end into this, and so the voltage will never change. Running to the back of it, running from the back of it, I'm going to have it going to probably something like a fuse. It's definitely going to have a fuse, and more than likely a DC jack. So a DC jack to a fuse to this, I'm going to use something like this, a switch. And this switch will be able to turn, I can plug it in, and then when I'm ready I can just flip the switch and that'll send the power to all of this so that it charges. More likely in the front, the plan is I'm gonna have the main switch hooked up to another power, and that'll probably run off the positive, I believe, and that'll just make it to where I can turn the power to it, the 12, the little battery, because the battery should last forever with this. And then from the battery I'm gonna have a way to balance it. I have a charger that'll charge it with the balance cables by itself. I don't have to worry about plugging in anything else, but I'm gonna try to make it to where I can get to everything to charge it. So there's a good chance that I'm gonna run 2 external pieces from there, that way I can charge this at the same time. So that'll take care of all that. So we're looking at the front of it's gonna have this safety switch, a plug for the foot pedal, and a power switch for this. So it'll have this, and a power switch with the safety switch all in the front. It'll also have another button like this, or maybe a flip button, but it's gonna have another button, and that button is gonna be okay. So I'm done. I'm not gonna be doing no more welds, but I don't wanna leave it charged. So because I don't want to leave it charged, I'm gonna go ahead and put these two resistors in kind of series for 12 volts, and that should give me about a 1.5 amp discharge on this, which is plenty to knock it down. This will be going to another switch that'll be running to someplace in there. That way I can just flip the switch whenever I'm done, and it'll discharge the cap, so I don't got to worry about there being no power in there and somebody accidentally discharging it. I believe that covers most of it. I did have it planned to run the power to this. I'm thinking I'm gonna end up taking off the top and putting it somewhere down here, maybe taking it off the bottom and putting it somewhere right here, and that power is the one that's going to be running to this to power this. So I had a plan to use something like this because it doesn't need to be amped, it's just going to be running 2 or 3 amps, and this cable's plenty good and these plugs are plenty good. So that was a plan, and I know it looks like a big old chunk of mess, but I'm sure that once I start building everything, it'll clean up, should clean up pretty nice, should clean up nicely. I guess we could look at quick sizes maybe. So I'm gonna turn this on and set it zeroed out, millimeters. Okay. So the boost converter looks like it's somewhere around 70 millimeters by 36, and it looks like it is probably somewhere around 19 deep, 19.8 deep, 75, 15, 40, 39, and 15, 36. Oh, it's got the little thingies on there too. It's 21.54 thick, 5113 wide by 2625. Switch is 2962 by 5673. Looks like it's around 1902 thick, and each one is 75, 2173 wide. They're probably 20 thick, 20 millimeters thick. The cabling could all be changed. The size of the cabling can all be changed to match my switch. Nope. Goes from 9-inch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like it's about 6.5 inches wide by a little over, well, about 1 inch wide. So 6.5 long by 1 inch wide, and it's probably about 3/4 thick. These are kind of all oddball size, because if you can see it, I'm not sure if you can see it. It looks like I got this one kind of crooked. Looks like most of them look like they're pretty flush in there. I kind of tried to make them flush. I kind of messed up on that one, but they're averaging 1655. And if I had to guess, they're all about the same except for the bottom one. The bottom one has a smaller LED, and that one is measuring 7142. And I know that I'm gonna send them one of these so that they can kind of caliper all his good stuff, but I'm gonna do this real quick. I got 106.83, 106.90. I don't know how that happened. It looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like it's about 6.5 wide too. I mean, not to the millimeter. But that just kind of gives you a rough idea. My complete build right here is actually going to be one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's about 10 and a quarter, 10 and 3/16 tall. But it looks like if worst case, it looks like I can take a little bit away from them and make it a little bit smaller, but the plan was to use this. And that's just kind of my idea of what I planned on doing. So this video was just kind of, you know, me showing what I plan on doing with this and how the case should work. After everything's put together, I should be able to, you know, have a safety switch on there. I should have readout of voltages. I even at one time planned on putting a voltmeter on each of these. That's why I got the 2 extra holes in the first. I also had it planned that the reason why these holes are so close to the bolt, you know, where I plan on, you know, taking most power, I plan on running thick wire all the way down through all of them, and then soldering it on, and then taking the wire and bending it over the bolts so that it just had, you know, some more continuity to everything. But that was just an idea, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'd add. So this video was just basically just to give somebody, you know, anybody that was wondering, you know, rough idea of what I have planned with this. If he decides to go ahead and do a case for me, more likely I'll put this on hold until he comes up with what he comes up. He's gonna send me some plans and stuff like that. I'm gonna look at them and decide, you know, if it makes fit. But I'm sure that they'll come up with something better than I got, something that'll work a lot better. But that's the plan, and that's not even knowing if it works, because right now we have no clue. This could be too much power, it might not be enough power, and it might be perfect. Who knows? So I guess if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section, Please like, subscribe, and share. And I will check you guys out in my next video.